Today is Tuesday, December 27th, 2022. Here we are, another video about the lightning. I live near Surfside Beach, South Carolina. Got up this morning, realized I have to drive to work today in Georgetown, South Carolina, which I'm estimating it's about 30 miles from my house. It was 20-some degrees when I woke up. So I got to Georgetown and I have 35 miles of range left on the truck and I have to get home. It's currently about 40 degrees. Yes, I should have charged it yesterday, but I didn't. I forgot. Should have made use. That thing right there. So let's see how we do. Let's get in. Let's see if we can map it. Hold on here.
$107.67.64.64.
So I can't hook up. Usually I use CarPlay, but I can't do that right now because if I do, it's going to stop the video. Let's do this. So it asks you this when your battery gets low. Pro power reserve setting reached. It asks if you want to, zapped off on me too quick. Turn off the pro power to conserve your power. When I was driving down here, well, there it goes. Driving range low. Okay. So, oh, now it's telling me I have 40 miles of range. It said 38 earlier, but I guess it's warmed up a little bit. So we have a little bit more range. So if I want to go home, let's see. Maybe I've never put, hang on one second. I can't imagine I didn't put my home address in this at some point. Well, it says 22 miles. All right. So it says 22 miles to home, and we have 40 miles of range as we leave Georgetown. So let's see how we do. Sorry, it's a little messy in here. I will say I do love the 360 camera. When you put it in reverse, you get the backup camera that comes on, but you get this 360 camera. And this works, as the cameras in the front, there's one up in the hood. There are cameras under the mirrors. There's ones in the back, both on the bed, so you can see, if you wanted to see what's in the bed, you can do this. So you can see what's in your bed. I do that when we go to recycling at the dump. Put a bunch of stuff in there, make sure it's stable. But otherwise you get the normal 360 camera. It also has a camera off of, if I can get it to come up, there it is, right off the tailgate if you have a trailer hooked up. Right now I don't have a trailer hooked up. I can click that. Go back to camera view. You can also see this, which is from the tailgate in the back, straight behind you. So all kinds of really cool camera shots. It puts them together for you in this 360. And it does come in handy when you're backing up. I don't know if you could detect it right there. You may have. When you park the truck, frequently it will put on the emergency, like the parking brake by itself. Then when you get in and put it in either drive or reverse, it just sits still. It doesn't, start to roll on its own. You tap the accelerator pedal for just, real quick, just bop it with your foot, and it will release the emergency brake. So, and then you can back up or drive forward or whatever you want to do. And I think that is a really cool convenience feature. You don't have to remember to put your parking brake on or to take it off. The truck does it for you. So we'll see. 22 miles. thought it was a little more than that because I think it's 22 miles between the two hospitals where I work, and home is about 5-6 miles past that. So let's see what it actually ends up being. So it says we have 40 miles of range, and we're just gonna go. I'll give you an update maybe halfway when we get somewhere, Pawleys Island, maybe Litchfield, here between Georgetown and, so this is south of Myrtle Beach, just to orient you a little bit. But when I get about halfway home, we'll do an update and see what we have. There is a Ford dealership which has a standard level 2 charger, Tidelands Ford. So I could stop there and plug it in for a few minutes if I need to. But I'm going to try to resist the urge to do that and see what we have left when we get home. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so just crossed over the bridges out of Georgetown, headed north on 17. It says I have 23 miles to go to get home. Let's see if I can focus that a little bit. 36 miles of range to do it. Should be fine. It wants me to stop in 11 miles, which is at, I'm guessing, we'll see, I think that's at the Tidelands Ford dealership to put in a little bit of a charge. I'm going to not do that. We're just going to drive home. My hand is on the wheel, so I have it on Blue Cruise. You can see the little blue wheel up here in the corner. I use that quite a bit. I do tend to keep my hand on the steering wheel, but even with your hand on the wheel like this, if you're not actively making minor adjustments to it and just letting the wheel move your hand, after a few seconds or a minute or so, we'll see how long it takes, I'll do it. It'll tell you to put your hand back on the wheel, even if your hand is on the wheel, as a safety reminder in these areas. Now this road, you have to keep your hand on the wheel. There it is. Keep hands on steering wheel, and it is. So I just give it a little shimmy. It says, okay, you're there, and it's happy again. There are some roads, specifically around here, around Myrtle Beach, Route 31, which goes from the southern area of Myrtle Beach up to North Myrtle Beach, which is full hands-free. You can set it, take your hand off the wheel, and then you get a bigger, in the same area, you'll get a bigger blue steering wheel that'll show up, and it'll say hands-free under it. And like now, I have my foot off the gas. That's just adaptive cruise control. You know, a lot of cars have that. There we go. Shimmy the wheel again. But on 31, you can take your hands and feet off and let it do it. I tend to not take my hands off the wheel much because you don't really want to put all your trust in any vehicle like that. So, see, same thing. Keep hands on wheel. My hand's on the wheel, so I just give it a shimmy. But it is a nice feature to use. I just rest my hand on it and make changes as I need. Otherwise, let the car do it. But I still have control of the vehicle if I need to do anything immediately. So where are we? See if we can focus in here a little bit. I am watching the road. So we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Okay, so brief update. We are a little north of Pawleys Island now, coming into Litchfield. Ford navigation says I have 13 miles to go. This, am I aiming at it? Says I have 31 miles of range, so I should be fine. Now it's telling me there's a charger in 1 mile. I thought when we started that was going to be the Tidelands Ford dealership in Pawleys Island, but it's not, because we're north of that. So I don't know where this charger is in 1 mile. But Doesn't matter. We're going to just keep on going right on past it. What is the temperature? 49 degrees. Feels great.
In 1/4 mile, turn right.
I don't have any climate control on. I haven't needed it. I just kept the sunroof open all day. Huge sunroof.
Turn right.
Plenty of, I guess, what, greenhouse warming.
Continue 3/4 mile, then keep left.
So,
Continue 7 miles on US 17.
I guess we just went past the charger. So there we go. Started out cold. I was in the low 20s this morning. Now 49, feels fine, feels nice, especially in the truck. It's perfectly comfortable. I've been driving it pretty much like I normally do. I guess starting at the red lights, maybe I'm accelerating a little bit slower than normal, but I don't think really much. I think I'm driving it pretty normally. And the speed limits, you can see that was 45 miles per hour. Yeah, the speeds aren't real fast through here, kind of 45 to 60. So, you know, it's not like I'm doing 80 miles an hour down here, burning miles faster off the battery. So I don't have the auto drive, the Blue Cruise on, but see the speed limit sign. Couldn't do it fast enough. But if you have Blue Cruise on, if you've never used it before, you can set the Blue Cruise for either for the speed to be at the speed limit or a certain tolerance above or below the speed limit. So you can set it at 5 or 9 miles above the speed limit if you want, or you can just set it right at the speed limit. And one of the things that's kind of cool, but you need to be aware of, if you do that, say I set it right at the speed limit, and I'm doing 55 miles an hour. And then the speed limit next goes down to 45. The truck will see the speed limit sign, and exactly at the point where that sign is, it will start to slow the truck down 10 miles per hour to a speed limit of 45. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you have it set likewise the other way, if you have the speed limit, the tolerance set at 9 miles above, say, right, and it's 45 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden you cross into the next speed limit zone and it goes up to 55 or to 60, it's going to go 9 miles above. It's going to speed you up, like you put your foot on the accelerator to that. So you need to be aware of that. But it's good if you're going, if the speed's going down, it kind of keeps you in line with what the speed limit is if you set it right to be at exactly the speed limit. But that is something to keep in mind and be aware of. It takes a little bit of getting used to. You can turn that on or off. You have full control over that. Do that however you want to do it. But it is something that's kind of neat, but you have to be aware of. Where are we? We're coming into Merle's Inlet. We must have passed Brook Green Gardens. I didn't even notice it. Brook Green, Night of 1,000 Candles going on there, which is fantastic. So right here, if you go where it splits, if you go to the right, you go to Merle's Inlet and the Marsh Walk and the restaurant district, which is fantastic, but is a lot of tourists go there. So we tend to go more in the off season than we do during the summer months. Not as much of an off season now as there was several years ago. People tend to come down here all year around. Merle's Inlet, welcome to Merle's Inlet, seafood capital of South Carolina. Brand new sign. So anyway, let's see, how are we doing? We have 28 miles of range to go. We're doing great. And 8.6 miles it says till we get home. So we'll check in with you in a few minutes. Thanks for riding along with us. Okay, we're just about home. We have well outperformed the range estimate. So when we left, it said we had to go 22 miles to get home. Now it says 0.4 miles, pulling into the neighborhood. And it said we had 40 miles of range. So here we are. We've gone our 22 miles, and it still says we have 25
at the end of the street,
miles
right.
of range to go. So we've gone 22 miles of pavement and
Turn right
used
on Stockyard Loop.
15 miles of range. And I find that anecdotally to frequently be the case.
Mile,
Stop.
arrive at 5109.
Stop. Anecdotally to be the case. When I've done little range kind of tests, that we typically get better range out of the truck than what the range estimate says. So that's a good thing. So I was nervous about making it home, but we made it home with 25 miles. We only used 15 miles of range to get here, so we did great. It looks really good in the sun. And it's dirty right now, but this is the antimatter blue. So in the sun, it looks this beautiful shade of kind of like a dark navy blue. But if you see the hood, if you're looking kind of off, sort of off axis from the sun, it'll look black. So let's do this. So here you can see it looks blue. I'll go around the front where the sun is not shining on it. If I can get the sun, you see it looks more black. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when we upload new videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Now it's time to plug it in. See if I can do this with one hand. There we go. It lights up blue. We're charging.